Hey everyone, that's right, I'm going to show you how you can get $162 credited to your power bill in an afternoon. At one point, I was getting $110 per kilowatt hour as the best rate during that period. So this video is for anybody that has solar or is thinking about getting solar or is just interested in looking at the ROI, opportunities and different strategies that you can use to really maximize that investment. So I have a 43 kilowatt solar farm, ground mount, 3 arrays. You'll see that shortly. But for me, I'm a crypto miner, so I'm always looking to reduce power. That's how you can get ahead. So I'm Crypto Kiwi, welcome to the channel.
That's a lot of power I'm sending back to the grid, right? Well, you must have a lot of panels on a very big roof. Well, I have a lot of panels, but they're not on the roof. They're on ground mounts. So as you can see here, I have 3 ground mount systems. My mining facility is in the back there, so that's what that is. I have a whole half an acre dedicated to my solar farm, with more going in. So I have other videos on solar farm. This one I just installed myself, so watch out for a video on that. But there's 43 kilowatts across the 125 panels that I have here. So 125 panels that total 43 kilowatts at the panel rating. When it comes to actually what does that mean as far as what I can send back to the grid, well, you can never send back what the panel rating is. They don't produce that much. But I can send back 36 kilowatts at peak. So when the sun is up in the middle of both arrays, I get 36 kilowatts. So that's how I'm able to send so much power back. So normally I just use it all in my crypto mining facility, but when it's, when they're paying you so much money to send it all back to the grid, I shut everything down and I send it all back to the grid. So that's how that works. More solar going in, so stay tuned.
Okay, so how do you make more than $100 an hour by sending money back to the grid, to your power company and getting paid? Well, let me show you. So you can see right now, if you look at this, I have a Sense power meter installed in my house. So it shows me real-time generation and consumption. So I'm producing more than 27 kilowatts right now. There's a kilowatt being used in my house. It's mainly just the fridge and a few other basic things. Everything's off. So I'm using my laptop, that's why it's hot in here. But the things we've got to do to reduce our power bill, right, to offset our mining costs. So you've got 26 kilowatts going back to the grid right now. So let's use 26, okay? There's a bit of change there, but I'm happy with 26. So let's have a look at the pricing and how I work out that I'm making more than $100 an hour. Well, if you go to the ERCOT website, the ERCOT website is what actually shows you supply and demand, and they show you the real-time pricing. So you can see in here that the demand, which is the blue, is approaching the purple, which is the capacity or the ability to generate. So they have less than 5,000 megawatts or 5 gigawatts of power. Today there isn't a lot of wind. Their wind generation is normally a lot more like 10,000 megawatts, but they're doing about 5,600 megawatts. So it's about half of what they normally do. And it's also hot, like today's 108 degrees where I am right now. So as a result of that, you've got high demand and you've got a reduced generation. That happens a lot though in summer. So that's why this can be an effective strategy. You can see here the wind is kind of right down. So if we have a look at the pricing, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at, let me just refresh this here. So you can see the most recent update is 4:25. Right now it's 4:28 p.m. if you look at the bottom right of my screen. And if you have a look around Texas to see what the prices are of generation, you can see 4,680. Okay, let's just keep going around. As I'm going around showing you the relative prices, you can see in general it's 4,600. What do we got? 4,900. Just choose a spot. 4,696. What is that? Well, what is that price? That's not the price per kilowatt hour, but that's the price per megawatt hour. But if you divide that by 1,000, you get the price per kilowatt hour. So 5,000 would be $5 a kilowatt hour. Yes, right. Normally, everything is down here in the blue, or the light green at most. So normally it's $20 a megawatt, which equates to 2 cents. If you can do the conversion, it's 2 cents. When you get up to like $100 a megawatt, that's 10 cents. So that's at the point where basically I'm buying it. My rate that I consume that is 10.7. So you're kind of looking at this, when things are 100 and 110, it's about break even. But as soon as this thing skyrockets up the charts to when you're getting to like near 5,000, that's the time where you need to make sure you're sending all the power back. So, 4,600, I'm just going around the place to see what else we got to give you an idea. Whoa, 5,400. if you live in that part of town, you're going to be getting $5.43 a kilowatt hour right now. Oh, that's amazing. So $4.80 a kilowatt hour. I'm going to go with $4.60 just because, that was the lower end, I think, of all this. So 4.6 times, what was our generation? So 25 right now? 24? Let's go with 24. 24. 24 times $4.60. So right now, the power company is paying me $110 for every kilowatt hour I send. It's for $110 for all the power I'm sending back. So $4.60 roughly. Some parts of the state are $5. So if it was $5, it's going to be more than 110. But you get the idea. So it's not hard to be able to get $110 credit on your power bill or thereabouts, right? So that's how that works. So $110. Well, I don't even use $110 of power in a day. So even if you just get this for half an hour, it's basically going to offset all my power costs. So you can really get a huge credit in summer. So on the days where the wholesale buyback rate is very high, and you can just keep an eye on this in the morning, and you can have an idea how that's going to go. But in the afternoons when it's hot, just shut everything down. It's maybe going to get a little bit warm in your house for a while. Just go out to the mall, go shopping, go and do something else. But let all that power go back to the grid, and you're going to get hundreds of dollars credit on your power bill. So that's how you can massively reduce your power, effectively your overall power costs. So when I look at how much my power bill will be at the end of the month, and I have a look at how much I've actually consumed, my overall cost is not going to be anywhere near 10.7, because the rest of the day you're actually using the solar if you're not sending it all back. So I can actually just use all my solar generation, and then when it's really high, you send it all back, and you get this kind of pricing. So that's how you do it. That's how the power company is paying me $110 an hour right now. So something to think about. If you live in an area where they do wholesale pricing, it's not all bad. The vast bulk of the year, yes, it's 2 cents, but you just make sure that you have enough equipment that will be able to consume everything you've generated. Then you're not sending anything back. So the 2 cents doesn't matter, right? So I have more than 30 kilowatts of equipment. So everything I generate, I can consume. And then when the rates are high, I just shut it all down and it all goes back. So I'm helping my fellow Texans by reducing consumption on the grid at a time of high load. And I'm also getting paid $110 an hour. So that is how you do it and overall reduce your power bill massively. So I hope that's useful for you. Hey everyone, I'm back. And as you can see, the power is on. There are lights and I'm cool. I wanted to make this part of the video before end of the day. And as you can see right now, it's 11:48 p.m. So, and there are thunderstorms. We just had a lot of thunderstorms, power went out. Anyway, it's a whole nother story. So the point here I wanted to show you the ERCOT website and just to show you what they look like, and then we're going to go through the numbers and see actually how much money I made this afternoon. This updates, and there's not an easy way to look at it, but afterwards. But you can see here throughout that afternoon, the demand and the generation was pretty close. That's why you get those payback figures. So right now, obviously, you're looking at a few cents. A couple of cents. So the wind was right down today, so that was that big factor. And let me blow up the system-wide prices. Here it is here. If I just do a refresh, and my head, I can just scroll up. So you can see here, it fluctuated. Here's that 5,000, right, or $5 a kilowatt hour. So it fluctuated, but if you see the lowest it went to after it went up, after, what is this? So 4:15. So from 4:15 all the way through until 7:15. So for 3 hours, there was a point here where the lowest it was 400. So 400 is still 40 cents. So the worst amount of credit I was getting was 40 cents, right? Was the worst credit for, for 4 hours. And at times I was getting $5 a kilowatt hour. So I showed you that. So I was getting more than $100, right, at that rate. So this is sampled every 15 minutes. This is the 15-minute rate. This is important though, because the way Encore works is they record your meter every 15 minutes. So whatever you've consumed in 15 minutes, they charge it at this rate. Whatever you've sent back, they charge it at that rate, right? Or so they give you a credit at that rate. So if we look at the price points, here are all the prices, and when we get to the bottom, this is for all the different zones around Texas. So I'm just going to actually just choose a random one or take an average of a few of these, but the point that they basically are more or less the same. So if we look at one of these intervals, hopefully you can see it okay on the screen, but it doesn't really matter which one you choose. Okay, it just refreshed actually. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. They're all basically, like if we took a line item, they're all basically the same price, So it doesn't really matter, as you saw all around the map. So I'll just choose an average, just so you don't know which part of Texas I'm living in exactly. So I'm just going to choose an average, but it'll serve the purposes fine. It's going to be close enough that it's going to demonstrate this strategy. Now, from a cents generation perspective, it's similar. See if I can just move myself out of the way here a bit. There we go. You can see that between those hours, between 2 through all the way through until 8 o'clock. So 6 is from 6 till 7. So I turned off my power here at 2:30, and then the rest of the time I sent it back. So you can see I can't see this broken down into 15-minute intervals, but I can see it per hour. So what I'll do is I'm just going to divide it by 4 to keep it simple, even though it's probably more likely more of that was at the earlier part of the hour, but then again there could be some clouds come through. It was a little bit of so I'm just going to divide it by 4 to keep it simple for that hour, but I will use the rates here that we've got because they do it every 15 minutes. You can see on the left hand side here, midnight at 30, midnight 45, so they do it every 15 minutes. So I'm going to compile that data, and then I will get back to you shortly to show you how much money I actually got credited to my bill. So stand by. Okay, I'm back, and I've got that data to share with you. So as well as my cents power meter, where I can see how much I've generated for the whole hour, what I didn't show you before is the N-phase inverters that I have. They also have what they call a 4C combiner. It's like a brain control unit, but it also records all of the generation. So this is actually better, or I can show you how I'm going to use the combination, because this breaks it down by every 15-minute block how much you generated. So they're the figures that I've used. So that's actually perfect because it's exactly what was generated through that 15-minute period where Encore is going to give me that credit. The only thing this doesn't know about is it doesn't know how much I consumed. So if I combine that with what I had here as far as consumption goes, I was using about 1.5 kilowatt or 1.2 kilowatts for the hour. So I was able to actually correlate the two and just take off, a little bit, from each of these for that slight that I was using, and then I came up with the spreadsheet. So here we go. So we have the date in question, which is obviously the 8th of September is what we've been looking at, the time, and then the rates that I got from ERCOT. So ERCOT is the generation company that actually has those rates. Here's the volume. So this is in kilowatts basically. I'm not going to say per hour because it's not. So for that 15-minute block, I generated 7.6 kilowatts. So if you added all that together, then that would be what it was for that period of time. So in there, that's 24.1 I can see. So that was 24. So 24 kilowatts in that hour. This is the effective dollar value, right? We have the rate, we have the volume, and then the dollars. So when we add that all up, we end up with 90 kilowatt hours total generation that I sent back to the grid, which works out to $162 credit, with an average credit per kilowatt hour of $1.80. So we can check if 90 kilowatts works out perfectly with my cents. It says that I sent 90 back, so I know that I did that right. So for today, it was $162 credit on my bill, just for that period. Now, I don't have the bill yet in from this period, so I can't show that piece exactly. But what I'm using Shell Energy Company right now. They don't actually show you each block or each piece. they only show you all of the solar you've generated that you sent back, and they just combine all of the credits that they give you. So they blend it all in. If I just had this one day on my bill, that's what I would see. But I can show you some other bills, and you can see what I've got. So here I have my bill from effectively the June period for the most part, early July, and then the July period through August. So I'm not getting that $1.70 rate, but what you can see that I did get credited at 33 cents is the average. So I sent back 449 kilowatt hours at 33 cents, and they credited my bill $150, right? Which I think is pretty awesome. It gets even better because I was refining my technique and my strategy. So here I was just sending it back to see what was going to happen. In July, I got a little bit better. I only sent back 311, so less than the previous month, but I actually got a larger credit. So they credited me at nearly 56 cents per kilowatt hour. So for the 311 kilowatt hours I sent back, 56 cents, $174 off my bill. So that's phenomenal. So in addition to what my solar generates that I actually consume, when you factor in, so from what they see from the perspective of what I actually pulled from them and sent back, you can see here the average price paid was 9.3 cents, which is pretty good in July, and then in June was 9.3 cents as well. So pretty phenomenal, and that's outside of, like I said, what the solar generated. So quite amazing. So when I get the actual bill in, we'll see. But the reason why these are so high, like 450 or 300, is I wasn't, just keep being strict on exactly that, 5,000, right, or $5 a kilowatt hour, or $180 is $180, $1.80 per per kilowatt hour. As long as it was more than 10.7, I'm happy. So some of it was at a lower rate, but as long as it's more than 10.7, which is what I pay for power, I'm ahead. So if I'm setting it back at 33 cents or 55 cents, I'm happy with that. So you can see that works. So that's how you do it. So there you have it. That's how I got a huge credit on my bill, and that's how I'm able to reduce my overall cost for mining, which is really important. So I'm going to look at some more panels that are facing west, because that's also how I can really maximize that afternoon sun and reduce it. So I haven't finished putting in my solar arrays, looking at more, but obviously based on how effective this is, I may well face more west, or at least southwest, to pick up that afternoon sun and get credit on the bill. So I'll keep you tuned on that on some other videos. I hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please give me a subscribe and a like, and I look forward to see you next time. Get the Kiwi out.